A death investigation begins in Joplin after authorities find a body in a burning home. Plus, court documents reveal what may have led up to a double homicide in a villa, and an area agency helps seniors register for their COVID vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We're looking at another sunny, warm day today. Looking forward to that. I feel like we're getting blessed. Here's Michael with a check on our forecast.
Yeah, Tanya, not too bad. Not as warm as what we had yesterday, but the Skywatch storm tracker showing us how clear we are to start with very, very pleasant February morning temperatures ranging from the low 50s to the mid 40s. It's hard to beat when you walk outside right now. It's absolutely delightful. Live look from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, where we sit at 51 degrees. Humidity, it's another thing we're going to have to keep our eye on, though, because it's going to go back down again today. So let's keep that limited fire risk kind of on top of your mind. I know it's going to be tempting. I know there's a lot of limbs down right now. I tell you what, we got a wide gap here as far as our wind chills go. We're looking at right at the freezing mark in Iola, compared to about a 22-degree jump up when we talk about Neosho, a 23-degree increase when we talk about Cassville. You can tell the dividing line right there just along the north side of I-44. For the bus stop forecast, going to be absolutely perfect for the kiddos. Don't have any worries. And we're starting to see the temperatures once again recede to the north, but like I said, not as warm as what we had yesterday. A little Scotia green, if it pops up for anything, it's going to be light, it's going to be quick, not really going to amount to much. And then as we jump to the 7-day forecast, still going to have temperatures not going to budge much today. That's because we actually have a cold front dropping through. But because we were so warm yesterday, we saw some 72, 73s on the board yesterday. We're going to maintain the 50s. Work in the 40s and 50s into the weekend, and really the nice thing is, Tanya, any rain that we see on Friday, a little bit more widespread on Sunday, but everything just going to be very, very pleasant, especially when you consider we're on the back half of February. Ta-da!
Right. There you are. Hey, we can't complain about this. And I'll move on. New this morning, police conducted a death investigation following a fire in northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. Joplin Police Department is investigating. There's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. Probable cause affidavit filed in Jasper County shows 24-year-old Kevin Johnson allegedly killed the two after he learned how his girlfriend died. On Saturday, the body of 25-year-old Briley O'Banion was found in a ditch in rural Newton County. An autopsy revealed she had been suffocated before being dumped and set on fire. Probable cause in Jasper County says Johnson claims to have killed McClure and Hodges because they told him they had killed his girlfriend O'Banion. Sheriff says they're still investigating, partly to see if Johnson's story checks out.
One of the reasons why we continue to do this investigation is to, first of all, ensure that we have all the facts regarding the case for the benefit of the person who's in custody, and also just to ensure that there's not other individuals involved. We don't think that there are. We have so far no indication that there is other individuals involved, but we want to make sure of that.
Johnson is currently being held at the Jasper County Jail on 2 charges of first-degree murder with no bond. Navigating the web can present a problem for some seniors. It's a bigger problem considering registration for COVID-19 vaccines online. But the Area Agency on Aging has that covered. They're offering their services to 4-staters 65 years and older who need help registering for vaccine clinics. All you have to do is call. We'll give you that number here in a moment, so get ready. They've already helped 150 people so far. Now, if you need help registering for a COVID-19 vaccine, just call the Area Agency on Aging. The number to call, 417-781-7562. That number's at the bottom of your screen. Again, it's 417-781-7562. Just leave a message. Joplin School Board unanimously approved a plan to get the high school students back to in-person learning full-time. Plan was prepared by the high school principal, Dr. Stephen Gilbreth. It details a progressive approach to phasing out the AB days the high school is currently using to reduce the number of students on campus. The plan cites the drop in active COVID cases in the district and community. According to the plan, the administration feels with the current trend in numbers that it's time to begin the reentry process. That process would begin March 1st, with freshmen returning to the high school full-time. It would continue a week approach from there, bringing each class back 1 week at a time. Kelsey Norman Elementary School in Joplin is getting some room to grow. A groundbreaking yesterday marked the beginning of construction on an expansion of the school. It's funded by taxpayers who approved a $25 million bond issue in June. $3 million is going to this project that will see the school add more than 8,300 square feet.
I'm just most excited that all of our students will have a place to call home. Right now we're in the halls and in trailers and closets, and so they will actually have a place that's theirs permanently, and so we're really excited about that.
Construction is expected to wrap up in October. The rest of the $25 million bond will fund a new elementary school. Officials are building Dover Hill Elementary off of North Main Street. Tap water is restored to people in Carterville, Missouri, but there is a boil water advisory there until further notice. Last week, a water main break disconnected the tap water. It's 5:07.
All right, so we've got a cold front that actually is going to move in here. And so when you look at that bottom line right there, I was just kind of updating this. When I say keeps temps even, what I mean by that is we're not going to see the increase that we saw yesterday, and that's because our wind is going to shift to the north, and so that's going to be our key factor for today. So it's one of those, it's a very, very pleasant morning. We're just not going to get the big increase that we had. We were up in the low 70s yesterday. Now, for the old 7-day forecast, we're able to ride 40s and 50s into the weekend. Any rain that we do see today, it's going to be very light, south of I-44, quick hitter, not going to amount to anything. Friday, not going to amount to anything. Sunday, though, Sunday's a little bit more widespread because the cloud's going to move in, so we got a front that's going to push in from the northwest.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Carthage and Webb City meet on the court last night for Carthage's final home game of the season. We'll have highlights. Plus, vaccine manufacturers are back on track after the winter storms to deliver $14.5 million to states every week. And we'll take a look at the Delta Dental Survey that shows the average payout per tooth for the Tooth Fairy. It's reached an all-time high. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
McCully Warriors with a chance to move on to the district championship last night. McCully at home against the Hume Hornets. It's the Class 1 District 7 semifinals. Warriors fresh off a 22-point win over Northeast Vernon County in round 1. We start action first quarter. Thomas Black straight to the rim. McCully up 6 after the first quarter. Black back to back in the second. Give me that putback, give me that foul. He got 9 in the first half. Warriors go up 5. On to the third quarter. Bryson Morrison for Hume. Oh, shooter's touch. Hume ties it up. Warriors get the lead back off the steal. Matthew Doman gets by everybody. We got a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. Now, 1-point game. Cable Rykoff. Boom! Hit that. Gets the lead back to 4. Huge fourth quarter for McCully as they end up running away with this one. With it 55-40, a chance to claim their first district title since 1991.
It would be enormous. It hasn't been done in a long time, and to bring one home for McCully would be just absolutely awesome. Them having 4 coaches in 4 years, this is something that hasn't been done in a long time, and for these seniors to be able to have an opportunity to do that is fantastic.
Carthage Tigers played their final home game of the season last night. Let's have some fun and welcome in the Webb City Cardinals on the girls' side. Second meeting of the season between these two teams. Carthage won the first matchup by 19, so Cardinals aiming for a little revenge and aiming for back-to-back wins for the first time since December. First quarter, Kiana Yates, top of the key. Whew, I don't even know if it hit the net. Tigers lead by 4. Then Yates to Bryna Ream. She gets the jumper to fall, pushes the lead to 6. Second quarter, JD, yeah, say it with me now. JD who? Duda! Somebody pick up the ball, please. Coast to coast from way up. Duda had 19. Cards get within one. Riley Shanks gets the bucket and the foul. Webb City's got a 1-point lead. Third quarter, pass to Haley Fullerton on the wing. Splash, splash. She gets 3. Carthage pulls away in the fourth quarter and wins it 55-38.
And I'm really impressed with our girls. The code word they picked up for this year was relentless, and pretty much we've been relentless all year. We've taken the top teams in the conference deep into games, and we're happy with that, and we've taken care of business with the teams below us.
Boys side, Webb City trying to get back to the 500 mark in the COC conference. First quarter, talk about ball movement. Check this out. Luke Brumped in the paint. He's the recipient. He gets a 2-pointer. Cardinals up 3. Nikai Howard. Oh, fade away, my man. Webb comes out, 5-0 all of a sudden. But speaking of ball movement, look at that cross-court pass. Joel Pugh gets the Tigers within 4. Second quarter, Mekhi Gerard. Steal. Lay that up. Coast to coast. Webb leads 28-15 at the half, and the Cardinals cruise from there. They win it 62-46. Pittsburgh State Gorillas open the baseball season with a big offensive day on Monday. Racked up 17 runs. Now get this. 17 runs on 12 hits. Beat Missouri Western 17-12. Pitt State right back on the field yesterday. Another MIAA opponent got Northwest Missouri State. First inning, Blaine Olmeyer. Yeah, take that. I'll beat your shift. Goes the other way. Brings in Dawson Pomeroy. Caps off a 6-run first inning for the Gorillas. Second inning, bases loaded for Tyler Henry. Delivers a base hit to center. That scores 2 more. Pitt State gets 3 in the second. So now we're at 9-0. In the third, Cruz Aranda. I'll tell you what. Death by paper cuts, huh? But Garrett McGowan comes home. Another big day for offense. Mason Hartman. I love it when that wind blows out like that. 2 more come in to score. So, after scoring 17 in the first game, a home game, Pitt State scored 20. 37 runs in 2 games. God bless college baseball. That's awesome. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, COVID test results at home.
Testing for COVID on a smartphone. I'm Ian Lee with researchers developing the new method.
And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. We are rolling up on just past 5:17. I had to double check my clock right there, but you'll get an idea. It's still waiting for a little sunrise from the old, we call it cow cam, just to let you behind the curtain there for a little bit. We don't use that phrase on air too much, but that's what it is. But hey, we got it back working because we got it unfrozen from last week. That was a key factor. Weather almanac for this February 24th, 1956 got up to 80 degrees. We don't have to get close to there to have a pleasant day. That is for sure, because you have to remember, we were coming off a day where we hit 73 in Joplin yesterday. Now, here's the interesting factor about that. Even though we've had this nice little stair step upward, tell you what, those 2 weeks of a cold front still put our February average high below the freezing mark. We sit at 50 right now in Pittsburgh, 51 in Welch. Let's roll 46 in Nevada. Live look from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, where we sit at 51 degrees. And our wind now shifting. This is a key factor for today. This is why we won't get a big warm up. Well, temperature's just kind of going to be stable. But you can tell, we're still waiting on the shift down here, but now we're working in from the north up top, and we are seeing gusts of 27, 22, 32 miles per hour in Independence. And so that's why our temperature's not going to warm up like it did yesterday, but it's not going to be too cold either, as we're managing just to stay like in the 40s on the bus stop forecast. Sunrise officially at 6:55. Still going to see a high today around 52, so like I said, it's just kind of going to stay right there. Any rain that we do see going to be in the deep south and not going to be anything of consequence. As we head into the weekend, 53 and even a 60 there before we get to Saturday and Sunday. And really the weekend, not too bad. Could get some widespread rain on Sunday, but no chance of it flipping over. That's a key part right there. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page. Tooth Fairy's wallet. Ooh, I don't know. She may need to check she may need to check her Bitcoin, because according to a Delta Dental survey, the average payout per tooth has reached an all-time high. According to the original Tooth Fairy poll, I couldn't make that up if I could, she's dishing out an average of $4.70 a tooth. That's 4 cents more than the previous high that was set in 2017. Now, to put that in perspective, when the poll first began in 1998, average value of a lost tooth, $1.30. Our question to you on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and the Insta poll: how much money did you get from the Tooth Fairy as a child? Let us know by either going to Facebook or KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. And get your results. Be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the Biden administration now says states will get 14.5 million coronavirus vaccine doses every week. That's up nearly 60% since President Biden took office last month. This as the heads of several vaccine makers told Congress Tuesday that they're on track to deliver more than 200 million more doses in a matter of weeks. Erica Hill reports.
Vaccine supplies remain the #1 hurdle to vaccinating Americans at a faster pace.
That hurdle front and center at a virtual hearing today with the vaccine makers.
We did initially experience some problems with the initial ramp up of our vaccine. We will be on track to deliver those 300 million doses before the end of July.
Moderna promising the same.
The short answer is we do believe we're on track to meet those deadlines.
Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine could secure emergency use authorization from the FDA later this week.
We're prepared to ship immediately upon emergency use authorization nearly 4 million doses of our vaccine.
Beyond production and distribution, questions about protection as new variants spread.
Adding a new strain to our vaccine is something that we have experience with and are capable of doing very quickly.
Pfizer looking at a potential third shot as a booster. And
we're also in discussions with the FDA to get potentially developing an upgraded vaccine against the new variant of concern should it arise.
Meantime, the White House announcing a boost in distribution.
States will now receive 14.5 million doses this week, up from 8.6 million doses per week when the president took office.
More states expanding eligibility.
Starting next Monday, March 1st, everybody over the age of 55 will now be eligible for the vaccine.
Nationwide, more than 13% of the population has that first shot.
It makes me feel better that just knowing that we're at least a little protected.
6% now fully vaccinated. But what does that second dose allow you to do?
Common sense tells you that, in fact, you don't have to be as stringent in your public health measures. But what we want to get firm recommendations from the CDC, which I believe will be coming soon.
While we wait, more signs of pre-pandemic life returning.
It's just really great to see them back open and also be able to come inside for a change.
In New York, tested, masked fans will be in these seats tonight for the first time in nearly a year when the Brooklyn Nets host the Sacramento Kings.
I think the light at the end of the tunnel is pretty bright, but we have to keep vaccinating.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker said Tuesday he wants to phase out online learning for kids in April. He'll start by bringing elementary school students back 5 days a week. Exercise may also be key for patients recovering from COVID-19. Doctors know that progressive exercise helps people recover from severe respiratory illness, and now they hope to use the same therapy for COVID patients. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Looking pretty good right now. Temperatures in the 40s to 50s. Going to stabilize because our wind is shifting. Going to move in from the north today. So we'll just ride low 50s, but that ain't bad for this time of year. Yeah, my goodness. My mother would jump to the TV screen and grab me right now. I think I just said that ain't bad for this time of year. I was just talking about my mother. Mom, you know I love you. I apologize for my grammar and all the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
A death investigation begins in Joplin after authorities find a body in a burning home. Plus, court documents reveal what may have led up to a double homicide in a villa, and an area agency helps seniors register for their COVID vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We're looking at another sunny, warm day today. Well, maybe not as great as yesterday, but I'm sure going to enjoy it. Here's Michael with the first look at your forecast.
We really can't complain, and it's just a matter of the shifting winds is why we're not going to be as warm as yesterday, but just a gorgeous start. We're going to have a wonderful sunrise on our hands. 48 right now in Pittsburgh. Let's roll 45 in Independence, 49 in Monette. And as we transition to the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, we sit at 51 degrees, barometer on the rise. Love that. Humidity, it's going to go back down again. Look at the defining line that we have as far as our wind chill goes. So we're feeling almost like 32 in Iola compared to 52 in Cassville. Wide variety of temperatures, and that's because as that wind shifts, everybody up north is going to be cooler first. Sunrise at 6:55 on the bus stop forecast. Mostly sunny start, and really no worries throughout the entire Midwest, and that's because we were talking about the barometer on the rise. Little Scotia green right there, going to push down to the south. Very light rain, not going to amount to anything, and really staying clear and sunny all the way into Thursday. Really not going to have to worry about anything until Friday, and even Friday is not going to be too widespread. Sunday, however, that's going to be a little bit more, as we'll have widespread rain that's going to work in from the northwest. But for the most part, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Now I bide my time, and I'll just sit here. What up, T-Bot?
I'm here.
I was waiting on you. I had you.
Yeah.
You like Chex Mix?
I heard you eating something over there.
Is that what you guys were conversing about?
Maybe.
What's wrong with Chex Mix?
No, just you always eat during the show and it makes me hungry.
I'll share it with you. I got an entire bag.
I know you will. I'm surprised you haven't got called out on it yet. Okay. Well, new this morning, police conduct a death investigation following a fire in northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. Joplin Police Department is investigating. There's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. Suspect in a double homicide in Avila, Missouri is in custody, but claims he committed the crime because of how his girlfriend died. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the details.
Next thing you know, we start seeing one officer, another officer, ambulance, fire truck, and then there was just so many officers over there I couldn't even count them all.
That's what Avila residents saw on Sunday after a double murder left 2 dead in the small town.
It's such a small community. You know, everybody knows everybody. You wouldn't think something like that would happen out here in this little town.
On Sunday, Jasper County deputies found 34-year-old Mason McClure and 34-year-old Nicole Hodges dead in this garage. They had been shot to death.
Monday morning, about 4:30 a.m., a suspect in that crime, Kevin Johnson, was arrested.
But to fully understand what allegedly happened, you have to go to Newton County. On Saturday, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion was found dead in a ditch in rural Newton County. Investigators say she had been suffocated and then her body dumped and set on fire.
At that point, we began backtracking where the victim had been. That's always a good way to start, to find out who was with the person last.
Newton County deputies say they then started looking for McClure and Hodges as persons of interest in the case, but they were dead in Avila.
Until that happened, until that discovery in Avila, we had really no indication that the two situations were related.
According to a probable cause affidavit filed in Jasper County, Johnson admitted to detectives he killed McClure and Hodges because they killed O'Banion, his girlfriend. He claims he had gone to the house in Avila to see O'Banion, and when he got there, McClure told him he and Hodges had killed her. So Johnson says he shot McClure and Hodges with a 9mm handgun he had taken from his dad's. He's now being held at the Jasper County Jail on 2 first-degree murder charges, but the investigation continues.
Right now, the biggest thing is to try to determine where our victim actually died at. The only person we have anything to go on is the person right now that's been charged with the crime. Obviously, the other two can't speak for themselves.
And in Jasper County, they're trying to see if Johnson's story checks out and if anyone else was involved.
So far, no indication that there is other individuals involved, but we want to make sure of that as we move along through this investigation.
In Jasper and Newton counties, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Johnson is in the Jasper County Jail on 2 charges of first-degree murder with no bond. Joplin's Connecticut Avenue is going to get wider, but before that can happen, property owners near the street need to see what's going to change. They got to do that last night at a public meeting. Owners got the chance to view a map that showed the project and how it will impact them. The project would widen Connecticut Avenue to 5 lanes from Murphy Boulevard to 30th Street. City is funding the project through a 10-year sales tax. That tax was approved by voters in 2004 and then renewed for another 10 years in 2014. Navigating the web can present a problem for some seniors. It's a bigger problem considering registration for COVID-19 vaccines is online. The Area Agency on Aging has that covered. They're offering their services to 4-staters 65 years and older who need help registering for vaccine clinics. All you have to do is call. We'll give you that number here in a moment, so get ready. They've already helped 150 people so far. Now, if you need help registering for a COVID-19 vaccine, just call the Area Agency on Aging. That phone number, 417-781-7562. You'll see it there at the bottom of your screen. Again, 417-781-7562, and leave a message. As the nation hurries to vaccinate people, Tyson Foods announces additional incentives for their employees to get vaccinated. Not only are they offering free vaccines at their plants, they're also compensating their workers who wish to be vaccinated elsewhere. We spoke with someone from Tyson to see what they face as they work to vaccinate their employees.
So right now what we're doing is working with a lot of local, state, and federal health officials to make sure that they know that we're ready for the vaccine when it becomes available.
Burleson says they can only vaccinate employees as quickly as they have access to vaccines in Missouri. The Children's Center in Joplin suffered some bad luck. Recently, they found some water damage in one of their interview rooms, but lucky for them, they're surrounded by a loving community that stepped up to help. Jasper, Newton County chapter of 100 Women Who Care show how much they care with a $2,700 donation to help offset the cost of the repair.
I can't think of one single time, even through the pandemic, when our community hasn't stepped up and reached out to us, which is even greater than us reaching out to them, reached out to us and say, what do you need? How can we help?
The center provides victim assistance services to sexually abused and physically abused children. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. A new way to test for COVID-19 at home, and it connects to your smartphone. And Jesse Irwin brings us another Wildcat Wednesday as we look into the world of entrepreneurship. First, it's 5:37.
On the Fresh Air forecast, we have a shift in our winds. Instead of coming in from the south like it was yesterday, it's going to work in from the north. And while it's just 5 to 10 miles, you'll notice how that just kind of backs off our temperatures, but still for the 50s. We can't beat that for this time of February. 7-day forecast will show us a little bit of rain early morning. That's going to be way down to the south, not going to amount to anything. Going to be the same on Friday, a little bit more widespread on Sunday, but our temperature is very, very nice for this time of year. And we'll be back with, let's do World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, French researchers are developing a new rapid COVID-19 test that connects to a smartphone to reveal results at home. CBS's Ian Lee reports from London.
Ever since the pandemic began, researchers in France have been working on a way to test for COVID-19 quickly and accurately.
So since March, we try to develop a portable device which everybody can use at home.
The research at this French university started, oddly enough, with camels, llamas, and alpacas. Scientists took tiny antibody particles from the animals called nanobodies. After some complicated science, they produced a device that plugs into a smartphone. A nasal or saliva swab is placed onto a strip, and if nanobodies come into contact with the virus, the test will know it.
And you start your mobile phone and a signal will occur And depending on the height of the signal, you can say if you're COVID positive and negative.
Researchers say initial trials of 300 samples were 90% accurate and delivered in 10 minutes. Creators of the Cordial 1 test say if it receives approval, it'll be cheap once manufacturing begins on a large scale, ultimately putting another weapon in the arsenal against the virus. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The next phase of the project is to run a 3-month trial on more than 1,000 people. A doorbell camera catches one stellar sight in Canada Monday. Meteor lighting up the sky in the province of Alberta. The American Meteor Society got hundreds of reports of the event. It could be seen in Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and even Montana. AMS says the brighter the meteor, the rarer the event is. What a sight. Berlin Zoo welcomes its first newborn gorilla in 16 years. Zookeepers say the newborn will be named after its sex can be determined. It was born to 24-year-old first-time mom Bibi and her 16-year-old partner Sango. With strict coronavirus restrictions in place, not even zookeepers or veterinarians were allowed to get near the little primate. Early last month, as many as 8 gorillas at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park were presumed to have contracted the coronavirus from a human handler. The primate house at the Berlin Zoo is currently closed to visitors. Keep that baby safe. Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
What you got there? What you got there?
Well, some Chex Mix.
Huh. Product placement. I wonder
you.
who gave you that. No, we're not
Appreciate
searching
it.
for sponsorship deals at all, people. By the way, Chex Mix. Shout out, we love you in the morning. By the way, where's Jack Hannon at the Berlin Zoo? That's who we need. All right, something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. There is such a thing called the Tooth Fairy Index, evidently. I'm just learning this out. I'm learning this out with you. Our question is, how much money did you get from the Tooth Fairy as a child? And I'm glad to see that most people fall in line with me, except you, Becky Mingarelli. She got $1. Yeah. I didn't. Ain't too bad. Now you'll notice the theme here as we go through. Rocky Cunningham, 25 cents when Nixon was president. And we do love you, Aunt Pat. We do. Colleen McGuire, 25 cents. She could buy some candy with that quarter. Bob and Linda Koch, 25 cents. William Beeching, 25 cents. This is what I remember. Like, it was 25 cents a tooth. And it is no surprise on the KOAM News Now Instapoll. Guess what's taking the cake right now? 25 cents. I'll tell you what. I want to know this 5% of you over here, not that $1, that bottom line. I want to know that 5% of you who's getting $5 a tooth. I probably would just take them pliers and just gone at it. Be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Police conduct a death investigation following a fire in northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. The Joplin Police Department is investigating. There's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. Homicide suspect alleges he killed 2 people because they had killed his girlfriend in a separate county. The suspect, 24-year-old Kevin Johnson, is in custody, and police say he has admitted to killing Hodges and McClure. But he claims he killed them because they had killed his girlfriend, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion. O'Banion's body was found on Saturday along the road in rural Newton County. Autopsy results released yesterday show she died from suffocation and then was lit on fire after being put into the ditch. Newton County Sheriff's Office was looking for Mason McClure and Nicole Hodges as persons of interest before they were found dead in a villa. Joplin School Board unanimously approves a plan to get the high school students back to in-person learning full-time. It details a progressive approach to phasing out the AB days the high school is currently using to reduce the number of students on campus. According to the plan, the administration feels with the current trend in numbers that it's time to begin the re-entry process. That process would begin March 1st, with freshmen returning to the high school full-time. It would continue a weekly approach from there, bringing each class back 1 week at a time. Navigating the web can present a problem for some seniors. It's a bigger problem considering registration for COVID-19 vaccines is online. The Area Agency on Aging has that covered. They're offering their services to 4-staters 65 years and older who need help registering for vaccine clinics. If you need help registering for a COVID-19 vaccine, just call the Area Agency on Aging at 417-781-7562 and leave a message. That's a check at today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Tanya, our big difference today is going to be our wind arrows because they're going to move in from the north. And so our temperatures, while very moderate this morning, are going to kind of stabilize. We'll just kind of hang in the 50s throughout most of the day. Very calm and just a north breeze. We're going to pick up though, and we'll have some 20-mile-an-hour gusts later on this afternoon and evening. 40s and 50s as we head into the weekend. All the latest on the Skywatch weather app. KOAM News Now Facebook page, our question, how much money did you get from the Tooth Fairy as a child? I'll break it down and give you specifics later. Nick Johnson says, what, the Tooth Fairy gave money? I always had to leave $1 for a shipping fee to get rid of the tooth. Nick, you sound like the way I raised my kids, man. Buck Thomas says, I got a quarter. And Buck, no, you're not off gauge, man. Everybody's pretty much saying it was a quarter back in my day. Now over to Jesse Irwin in Studio K.
Well, the past year has certainly given us a lot to think about, and for some people that means taking on a new career, trying a new endeavor. And this morning we're fortunate enough to be joined by our friend Julie Smith. Julie is really a guru when it comes to the entrepreneurial world. And so I want to start by asking you about Monday's competition that was taking place in Girard, and it was a youth entrepreneurial competition, but what was it like, and are there other ones coming up in case somebody missed that one?
Sure. So Monday we hosted a Trojan Entrepreneurial Challenge at Girard High School. And this is a competition with high school students just in the Girard district where they come up with a business, they develop a business plan, do a four-minute presentation in front of judges that includes question and answering, and then also set up a trade show display at the school. So each of those parts are judged individually. And then we gave away top 4 out of 11 teams that participated in $1,900 in actual prize money cash for some high school kids.
What kind of projects are we seeing at these? I know we heard about our winner on Monday, but I mean, give me some examples of these projects and what people need to do to get those projects ready for these competitions.
Well, there is a huge variety of projects that we see at the high school level. So at our competition in Girard, we saw everything from the winner who was making products on a 3D printer to a group that was doing some had a mobile pet grooming service, also a photographer, a student that was doing trapping of like live animals. What I love is that a student can have whatever their passion is, take that and turn it into a business, and that seems to be the most successful for sure.
When it comes to adults and being able to take on a new career change or being able to have a side business or maybe just doing something for fun, I mean, what are the different resources or grants or opportunities available to people over the age of 18?
Well, that's something that I would really like to visit with and encourage anyone that's looking to become an entrepreneur to start their own business, is to just start networking. So there's resources within every local community at the chamber level. SPDC at Pittsburgh State covers our entire region, and they do classes for how to start a business as well as business coaching for entrepreneurs. So if someone has an idea, they can go to the Small Business Development Center and talk one-on-one with them and check out the competition and have some professional resources. And then obviously bankers are always very involved in those type of endeavors when it comes to funding. So I think just being connected and reaching out to all of your resources, which includes, K-State Research and Extension as well. There's plenty of resources in the community for someone wanting to start a business. So they're definitely not at it alone.
Julie, I came up with so many random inventions throughout the past year just out of pure boredom. So at some point we might have to have you back on the morning show to sort of rate and review and give me some advice on these ideas so I don't take them too far.
All right, well, let's not do that live, okay?
Very fair. Hey, really appreciate you being here. We're going to have all this information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. It's Wildcat Wednesday. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Temperatures right now ranging high 40s, low 50s. Absolutely delightful. We're just not going to see a whole lot of change today. Even after sunrise at 6:55, we just hang in the high 50s, mostly sunny. It's that wind shifting to the north. It's actually a cold front that's moving through, but certainly, no, when I say cold front, I don't want everybody to be like, oh no, here we go again. It's not going to be like that at all. Our temperatures just kind of keep even. Now overnight, partly cloudy skies, and we do dip down right at just about that freezing mark. Let's see a little bit of rain this morning. That's just going to be south of I-44, and it's going to be sprinkles, not going to amount to anything. And then we're going to ride 40s and 50s on into what's really going to be a mild weekend. More widespread rain on Sunday, all the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
A death investigation begins in Joplin after authorities find a body in a burning home. Plus, court documents reveal what may have led up to a double homicide in a villa, and an area agency helps seniors register for their COVID vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Well, get prepared. We're in for another sunny, warm day today. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
You know, it's interesting, Tanya. You walk outside right now, it actually feels better this morning than it did yesterday. And we were up into the 70s yesterday. Now, we're not going to get that warm today, and that's because we've got some shifting winds, but no worries on the Skywatch storm tracker as temperatures sit in the mid 40s all the way up into the low 50s. So like I said, just a marvelous start from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin. We sit at an even 50 degrees. That's a big factor right there is, you know, yesterday we went about 10, 15 miles per hour from the south. Now we're going to work in from the north. There's your dividing line as far as our temperatures go, and that's why we've got a good 24-degree difference between what it is up to the north, 32 in Iola, 56 right now in Neosho. Bus stop forecast with sunrise at 6:55, mostly sunny start, and really no worries throughout the entire Midwest as the high pressure, while it gets on the other side of us right now, still bringing us plenty of sunshine. Could see just a little bit of rain this morning. It's not going to mount anything, just some sprinkles. Everybody else going to stay dry. No need to worry about it. And even overnight, though we get close to the freezing mark, not too bad considering we're at the latter third of February. Going to hang in the 50s all day long. Next shot for rain, going to spring up on Friday. That's going to be light too. How about 60s, mid 50s into the weekend? That's going to be a little bit more widespread there on Sunday. And then finishing out the week, I know, we're looking at it. We're looking at it. Got a cold front moving in. It's got some Gulf moisture with it. So let's see if we can get through this. We know around here, what's the latter third of February? There we go. The latter third of February and March. And we know that's when snow has a chance to reemerge.
It's typical around this area, and
well, but I mean, we're
the old groundhog said we had 6 more weeks of winter. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about Punxsutawney Phil.
He called it.
Thank God we got him. I'll stake my claim in Doug Hetty and Nick Kelly. I want to hear what they have to say.
You don't think they're following Phil?
No.
Maybe Phil is following them.
I know they're a lot smarter than Punxsutawney Phil. How about that?
All I know is yesterday I got home and my house was stifling hot. I turned off all the heaters, opened up all the windows. Oh, it was amazing.
When you're a weather guy, one thing you do before you leave for the morning show, you know what you do? You take your furnace and you turn it off when you know it's going to be 70 degrees.
Yeah, well, when you're not the last person that leaves the house, you might have a 14-year-old that's
I'm not getting into that.
And decides to turn the thermostat up to 74.
Yep. Not
that
getting
was
in
something
that.
to come home to. Yeah, it was very warm. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, new this morning, police conduct a death investigation following a fire in northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. The Joplin Police Department is investigating. There's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. A homicide suspect alleges He killed 2 people because they had killed his girlfriend in a separate county. On Sunday, deputies with the Jasper County Sheriff's Office found 2 bodies in a home in a villa. Now, the suspect admits to killing them, alleging he did it because they killed his girlfriend. That suspect, 24-year-old Kevin Johnson, is in custody, and police say he has admitted to killing Nicole Hodges and Mason McClure. But he claims he killed them because they had killed his girlfriend, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion. O'Banion's body was found on Saturday along the road in rural Newton County. Autopsy results released yesterday show she died from suffocation and then was lit on fire after being put into the ditch. The Newton County Sheriff's Office was looking for McClure and Hodges as persons of interest before they were found dead in a villa. Right now, they're trying to determine where O'Banion was killed.
The only person we have anything to go on is the person right now that's been charged with the crime. Obviously, the other 2 can't speak for themselves. So I think if we can determine where the incident occurred, that'll help us a lot in the investigation to determine what happened.
Jasper County Sheriff tells us he is not comfortable commenting on the contents of the probable cause, partly because they want to make sure Johnson's story checks out. Neither sheriff's office believes the other people were involved at this time. The Area Agency on Aging in Southwest Missouri is helping the state of Missouri register people to get a coronavirus vaccine. The agency is registering people as part of a partnership with the state's Department of Health and Senior Services. The service is available for people ages 65 years old and older, and adults under 65 with disabilities in Barton, Jasper, Newton, and McDonald counties without access to the internet.
They appreciate talking to a human. A lot of times they do get a recording when they try to get on different lists, and so when we call them back, they're very grateful that they get to hear a live person.
Agency says they have already registered more than 150 people. Joplin School Board met last night, and the top item on the agenda, a return to full in-person classes at the high school. KOAM's Chris Warner has the details.
The Joplin School Board discussed the proposal to get students back to class before unanimously voting to approve it Tuesday night. JHS Principal Dr. Stephen Gilbert developed the plan to get students back.
We feel like things have turned around and vaccines out and our numbers are down and you know it's time to get kids back.
At the start of the school year, Dr. Gilbert is the one who pushed for the AB schedule the high school has been utilizing before school started. Now, we spoke with one parent who has 2 freshmen at JHS, and she isn't convinced it's safe enough for kids to return to class.
Yes, I understand the COVID numbers are down right now, but that's also because of a lot of the precautions that we've been taking, masks and social distancing. I don't see how it's going to be possible to do that with that many kids.
JHS junior Grace Goebel has similar concerns.
COVID-19 wise, if we're looking to slow or stop the spread, I think it's really dangerous to go back to adding 2,400 students in the same building.
JHS senior Connor Winters has a different take on the situation.
I think at this point it's safer than it has been, but I still think they should wait until next year because we don't have very much longer to go.
Dr. Gilbert says he feels the plan to return is solid and the school is ready to welcome students back over the next few weeks.
I believe if we can keep them safe, that I feel like that school is important enough that kids need to be here.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
You can find the full plan in the story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. 1 year ago, a fire gutted the Whitlock family's Joplin home. A nearby Joplin police officer responded to the fire and got everyone out safely. Family says they survived thanks to local first responders like the officer who got them out and their ADT home security system and the employees at ADT. Yesterday, the Whitlocks got to meet the person on the other side of the security system. Heather Madonia was the dispatcher who got the call out to the Joplin first responders.
Seeing the home, and then I don't usually get, emotional. In fact, that's not really something that I do, but seeing them right away, I felt that exact same appreciation to them.
ADT donated $5,000 to both the Joplin Fire and Police Departments. That's awesome. 6:07.
A little bit about backstory yesterday. That's truly amazing what those people did, and how they celebrated that family as well. Temperatures right now ranging from the low 40s to low 50s. Not too bad. You walk outside on a February morning like this and it's perfect. Now, wind does shift on us, keeps us in the 50s all day long. Can't complain. Plenty of sunshine. We'll get some north gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour, Tanya.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a slow return to normal.
A new vaccine could be on the way. I'm Deborah Alfarone in Washington with more on that, plus a sign courtesy of the NBA that we could be inching towards a return to pre-COVID life.
Plus, Congress is working on its 6th coronavirus relief package. And our own Jesse Irwin checks in with the Joplin Humane Society for this week's Pet Spotlight. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, twice a year, the head of the Federal Reserve is required by law to provide an update to Congress on the state of the U.S. economy. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest on what Chairman Jerome Powell had to say nearly a year into the coronavirus pandemic.
In his semi-annual update to lawmakers, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell warned the pandemic is still wreaking havoc on the U.S. economy.
The economic recovery remains uneven and far from complete, and the path ahead is highly uncertain.
The central bank chair also suggested the Fed sees no need to increase its extremely low interest rates anytime soon.
The path of the economy continues to depend significantly on the course of the virus and the measures undertaken to control its spread.
This comes as lawmakers work to pass another round of stimulus relief, with a House vote expected later this week.
What we need to do now is put our foot on the gas to end the pandemic as quickly as possible, get our economy back to normal, and repair the damage that's been done.
Democrats are proposing a $1,400 check for people earning less than $75,000 a year, another $1,400 for dependents, plus funding for schools, vaccine distribution, and increasing the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Meantime, Republican Senators Mitt Romney and Tom Cotton are introducing legislation calling for a gradual minimum wage increase to $10.
$15 an hour is simply too high in many parts of the country. We think this is a constructive step that hopefully Democrats and Republicans can get behind.
Chairman Powell will testify one more time today, this time before House lawmakers. The classic Reese's flavor you love, now with organically produced ingredients. Hershey Company just revealed new organic Reese's peanut butter cups. They'll be available in the original milk chocolate flavor as well as dark chocolate. The company also announced it'll soon offer organic versions of its classic milk chocolate and dark chocolate Hershey bars, as long as they still taste good. Don't know how I feel about that. That's it for Money Watch. Can't mess with my Reese's. We'll be right back.
6:17, let's roll a little weather on the 7s, give you an idea what the fickle mistress has thrown at us here for the past 10 days. Look at that 1 and that 13 from 9-10 days ago, and then nice stair step up to 73 at Joplin Regional Airport yesterday. And when we hit midnight today, we were still at 60. Now, we've had a little slide back here as we've got everything from high 30s to mid 50s. I mean, we are widespread across the board for our Wednesday morning temperatures. Freeman Health System sky camera sit at 50 right now in Joplin. That humidity, once again, going to be a bad idea to try to burn anything because our wind is shifting and picking up. And so while we are coming in from the north, we're still doing so with gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour. See that gust out of Joplin right there? Let's go back. Let's go back and revisit that. I didn't pick up that last one. I just checked it too from Joplin Regional Airport. Look at that, almost 40 miles an hour coming in. Bus stop forecast, sunrise 6:55. It's going to be a delightful morning. No worries for the kiddos. Mostly sunny skies. And we're able to make it up, kind of normalized in the 50s today. Not a whole lot of change. Any of that rain we see is going to be down to the south, going to be very, very light. And then as we progress through the week, seasonable temperatures. Nice Saturday. Look at that, 60, mostly sunny, mild. A little bit of widespread rain there on Sunday. And yeah, we'll worry about that here a little bit later on. I'll let that affect your week. Now, over to Jesse in Studio K.
If you like pets, you're going to want to stick around for a few minutes. And stick around longer, but especially the next few minutes, because we are joined by our friends from the Joplin Humane Society today. That's right, we are joined by Tiana Fisher and Lex Everhawk. So, I mean, who are we joined by this morning? Because clearly, I mean, holy moly. You did it again, Tiana. Who do we have?
Aren't they cute? Can you see her really good? Okay, this is one of the tiny babies. Their mama's name is Ellie, and Ellie is currently on stray hold, so she is not available for foster until Friday. But we just wanted everybody to see the amazing little tiny animals that come to the shelter that need foster homes. So a couple days ago, we had a litter of 10 puppies come in that had to be bottle fed, and we had a list of volunteers and fosters who jumped in and took them to get them so they get big and healthy and ready for adoption. So we are always looking for volunteer foster families to help us care for these tiny critters and their families.
Since you've fostered, I mean, what's your experience been like with this? Obviously, you work with animals on a daily basis, but I mean, to have them in your home is sort of another adventure in itself.
Yeah, it is a pleasure, especially when you get home and you shut the door and they know you're home. So they all start meowing and crying and they're wanting out. It's really a pleasure to watch them go from something this small to being able to be big enough to be adopted. They're so adventurous and they definitely make their messes, but it's all worth it in the end.
It sounds worth it. All right, so I'll take 20, by the way, while we're placing orders here. But no, really, I mean, when it comes to the Humane Society, what are you guys up to right now? I know you have Shelter Pals coming up. Can you explain what that is? It's March 4th, and then you've got some other stuff as well.
Yes, so Shelter Pals is our kids reading program for those kiddos that are not quite old enough to be part of the volunteer program. They have to be 10 with the parent. But from 5 to 15, they're able to come in and join us for our Shelter Pals training, which is March 4th at 5:30. They get to come in, we do story time and snack time, and then we take 30 minutes and they get to go and read to the dogs that are back there. They get to feed them some biscuits, that's some of their favorite parts. And then they get to get kind of like a little reward. So they read for 30 minutes solid, and then they're able to go into our cat rooms and actually be able to love and play with the cats like we are right now.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate the two of you joining us this morning. We'll have that information and that link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And we will be right back on the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, President Biden is scheduled to sign an executive order today demanding a review of supply chains aimed at eliminating future shortages of vaccine-related products and PPE, as well as other types of materials. This amid another sign, as our Deborah Alfarone explains, there is already some positive news on the vaccine front.
The Biden administration says weekly shipments of vaccines to states are on the rise. It says this week alone, those shipments will be boosted by 1 million doses.
States will now receive 14.5 million doses this week, up from 8.6 million doses per week when the president took office. That's an increase in vaccine allocations of nearly 70% during the Biden-Harris administration.
And that trend should continue, according to vaccine makers who told Congress yesterday they plan to have enough inoculations for most Americans by summer.
Pfizer and Moderna say they expect to have delivered around 220 million doses by the end of next month. Johnson & Johnson is expecting its shot to start shipping within the next week or so, pending FDA approval, potentially coming within the next several days.
We believe that our single-dose vaccine will be a critical tool for fighting this global pandemic.
A sign of a slow return to normal. In New York, the state ruled a limited number of fans can return to sports venues, including Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks play.
It's been a long time coming, man, and it's been tough, but we've definitely felt you guys' love and energy and support.
About half of the 30 teams in the NBA are now allowing fans into arenas or announced plans to do so in the future. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
The House is expected to approve President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief proposal later this week. A big question mark, though, whether a provision raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour by 2025 will be included in the final Senate version of the legislation. A new report out on Tuesday warns the more transmissible UK variant of the coronavirus threatens to start a renewed surge of infections in March. The report suggests the U.S. speed up vaccination by skipping second doses for now and says people over 65 should go to the front of the line for shots since they are by far the most vulnerable to severe disease and death. The report also says the FDA should consider authorizing a half dose of Moderna's vaccine based on evidence that even half a dose provides good protection, at least at first. A team at the Mayo Clinic says the Moderna and Pfizer coronavirus vaccines are effective in preventing infection about a month after receiving the first dose. After looking at more than 31,000 people who received at least one dose, the team concluded the vaccines could prevent not only symptomatic disease, but also overall infection. Most people who get both doses have a higher chance of fighting the disease and infection. The new study, which has not been peer-reviewed, looked at medical records. Researchers say it's not a perfect study, but gives a good snapshot. If you or a loved one is feeling isolated, a brief phone call could really make a difference. A new study shows talking to an empathetic listener for 10 minutes a few times a week lowers feelings of loneliness by 20%. A study out in JAMA Psychiatry Tuesday shows an even bigger decrease for anxiety and depression, 30%. A researcher at the University of Texas, Austin led the study using more than 200 Meals on Wheels clients in Central Texas. Interesting way to get the study done. That's a look at some of today's top health stories you're watching, the KOAM Morning News.
Or you pull a hayslip and you talk to your best friend for, what was it, 150 minutes.
Been there, done that.
On Monday, yeah. What up, Alan Robinson? Up in Connecticut? Yeah, that's my boy. Taught me everything I know. Temperature is going to hang in the 50s today, mostly sunny skies. Wind has shifted, going to move in from the north. Will gust up to 25 miles per hour. Kind of seasonable temperatures. Don't worry about the rain. Going to be a nice weekend as well, as we're going to have temperatures in the 60s and the 50s. We'll have more KOAM Morning News right after this.
A death investigation begins in Joplin after authorities find a body in a burning home. Plus, court documents reveal what may have led up to a double homicide in a villa, and an area agency helps seniors register for their COVID vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We're looking at another sunny, warm day today. It makes me want to sing. Here's Michael Hayslip with a check on your forecast.
Yeah, we got about 25 minutes until sunrise, Tanya, and you can see it starting to peek through there. There's a live shot outside the mothership. And as we get into today, it's actually going to be very, very seasonable. God bless technology. Here we go. I knew you were going to pop up there, Skywatch Storm Tracker. Just a matter of time. Very clear throughout the Midwest with a high pressure system still hanging just to the east of us right now. Temperatures, we got a wide variety. Everything from the high 30s to the mid 50s, depending on whether you're up in the north or down in the south, respectively. Freeman Health System sky camera right now, where Joplin sits at an even 50 degrees. Like I said, that high pressure system, that's indicated by the barometer on the rise, and our humidity continues to drop. Once again, bad day to try to burn anything outside. There's your dividing line with the color contour. As the wind chill, I tell you what, it's one of those things where you walk outside on a February morning and you're kind of blocked out from the wind. You go, oh, this is great. And then you actually walk outside and that wind comes in. You go, woo, okay, I got you now. Mostly sunny skies, though. We're just going to hang in the 50s. It's not going to be too bad whatsoever. A little light rain down to the far south. That's why we got that 20% chance. Going to be sprinkles. Push its way down through northwest Arkansas and be done. 48, 53, that's going to be very light as well. Next shot really is going to be Sunday, where we get some widespread rain. And like I said, we'll worry about that later. Let's enjoy great February temperatures for the time being.
That's right.
Did you notice this time I figured out how to frame myself in the double box?
Yes, just stand perfectly in the middle.
Right. It only took me an hour and a half.
You're so tempted to be at the side of your 7-day.
I realize if I can get in between Friday and Saturday, I use that as my reference point.
There you go.
Yeah.
It all works great until tomorrow when your days shift.
No,
then
Brett,
you can't stand between Friday and
Brett, our
Saturday.
great camera operator, he's the one that saves me on this. And Dylan, our incomparable director. I work with great people. What can I say?
You do, you do. All right, well, new this morning, police conduct a death investigation following a fire in northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. The Joplin Police Department is investigating, and there's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. A homicide suspect says he killed 2 people because they had killed his girlfriend in a separate county. On Sunday, deputies with the Jasper County Sheriff's Office found 2 bodies in a home in a villa. The suspect admits to killing them, alleging he did it because they killed his girlfriend. The suspect, 24-year-old Kevin Johnson, is in custody. Police say he has admitted to killing Nicole Hodges and Mason McClure, but he claims he killed them because they had killed his girlfriend, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion. O'Banion's body was found on Saturday along the road in rural Newton County. Autopsy results released yesterday show she died from suffocation and then was lit on fire after being put into the ditch. The Newton County Sheriff's Office was looking for McClure and Hodges as persons of interest before they were found dead in a villa. Right now, they're trying to determine where O'Banion was killed. It's a crime that has baffled Arizona investigators for decades. Who murdered the teen whose body was found by a highway on Valentine's Day? Now, thanks to new evidence, they know who she is. Casey Nolan reports.
Newsprint shows the age of the case. A young woman found murdered on the side of a highway near Williams, Arizona, back in 1981 on Valentine's Day. But for Patricia Wilkins, 40 years ago is a vivid and heartbreaking memory.
I wonder every day what would have happened if I had kept her. And that's not easy to wake up to, you know.
Patricia was a waitress at a truck stop with a knack for spotting girls in trouble and had helped others out of dangerous situations. But she says the day she waited on Carolyn Eaton and a much older man, the 17-year-old told her her only problem was an aching tooth. Patricia gave her an aspirin for it.
And I asked her, I said, do you want to stay here with me or did you want to go with this gentleman? No, I'll go with him. I'm fine. So I assumed it was a relative, you know, a dad, uncle, you know, because it was early 50s.
A few days later, a sheriff's deputy stopped by asking questions about a girl they'd found murdered with an aspirin still on her tooth.
He said, yeah, that's our girl. And she must have died just hours after I had seen her. And that's something I've lived with now for 40 years.
For all of that time, no one knew the girl's name. Recently, new DNA technology led investigators to a relative in the St. Louis area. The family told police Carolyn Eaton ran away around Christmas back in '81 from Bell Fountain neighbors. They gave detectives a DNA sample that confirmed she was the 17-year-old found on the side of the road.
Now she's going to go home. And she's going to go with people she loves and that love her.
The case is not yet closed, and detectives are still looking for suspects.
I'll tell you what, now I can start sending Valentine cards again. I've never, ever celebrated that day since, but I think about her all the time.
There's still a lot of interest in the case. There's even a Facebook page called Sally Valentine, where hundreds of people post news articles and information about the case. Navigating the web can present a problem for some seniors. It's a bigger problem considering registration for COVID-19 vaccines is mostly online. But the Area Agency on Aging has that covered. They're offering their services to 4-staters ages 65 years and older who need help registering for vaccine clinics. All you have to do is call, and we'll give you that number here in a moment, so get your pen ready. They've already helped 150 people so far. Now, if you need help registering for a COVID-19 vaccine, just call the Area Agency on Aging. The number to call, it's at the bottom of your screen there, 417-781-7562. 7562. Again, that phone number is 417-781-7562. Just leave a message. Joplin School Board unanimously approves a plan to get the high school students back to in-person learning full-time. The plan was prepared by the high school principal, Dr. Stephen Gilbreth. It details a progressive approach to phasing out the AB days the high school is currently using to reduce the number of students on campus. The plan cites the drop in active COVID cases in the district and community. Now, according to the plan, the administration feels with the current trend in numbers, It's time to begin the reentry process. That process would begin March 1st, with freshmen returning to the high school full-time. It would continue a weekly approach from there, bringing each class back 1 week at a time.
Things have turned around, and vaccines out, and our numbers are down, and you know it's time to get kids back. Kids need to be in school full-time. We always wanted that.
You can find a link to the entire plan in the story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Emergency surgery for a golf pro.
Tiger Woods is recovering after crashing his car in Los Angeles. I'm Danya Backus with the latest on his condition.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About on the KOAM News Now Facebook page, we're asking, how much money did you get from the Tooth Fairy as a child? Probably more than me. We'll let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Where were you 11 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh my goodness. Feel like deja vu.
Yeah, it does.
And we're not talking about the Tooth Fairy.
No, we're not talking about the Tooth Fairy. Hey guys, you can flip over to the fresh air forecast for me. There we go. Going to maintain the 50s throughout the day. Wind has shifted, work in from the north, still delightful. Don't worry about any precipitation, and really above average temperatures into the weekend. We'll be back, find out what Tiger's up to right after this.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, Tiger Woods' team released a statement overnight saying he is recovering from long surgical procedure on his lower right leg and ankle after crashing his car yesterday morning. No one else was injured. It's a major setback for the 45-year-old still trying to compete at golf's highest level. CBS's Danya Backus is outside of Harbor UCLA Medical Center with the latest.
Following an early morning car accident in Los Angeles on Tuesday, Tiger Woods underwent emergency surgery on his lower right leg and ankle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sick to my stomach. Just worried for his kids, you know. I'm sure they're struggling.
According to a statement posted to the golfer's Twitter page, doctors at Harbor UCLA Medical Center inserted a rod into his tibia and stabilized his foot and ankle with screws and pins.
It's very fortunate that Mr. Woods was able to come out of this alive.
Los Angeles Sheriff's Deputy Carlos Gonzalez was first on the scene of the accident.
He told me his name was Tiger, and at that moment I immediately recognized him.
Emergency responders say they had to pull Woods out through the front windshield of his mangled SUV. The crash happened on a road known for speeding and collisions.
Hit the curb, hit a tree, and there was several rollovers during that process.
Woods has had his share of health issues before the crash. The 15-time major winner was already recovering from his fifth back operation.
He's 45 years old, but he's really like 60 years old in terms of how his body has been just kind of beaten up over the years from playing golf.
Earlier this week, Woods said he wasn't sure if his body was ready for this year's Masters tournament.
This is the only back I got, so I don't have much more wiggle room left there.
Woods hosted a PGA event in LA this past weekend and was still working in the area with sponsors. Police say there is no evidence Woods was impaired. Danya Backus, CBS News, Torrance, California.
Now, Woods has an ugly history behind the wheel. In 2009, he drove into a fire hydrant and tree outside of his Florida mansion. In 2017, Woods was charged with a DUI. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael Farr, something to talk about.
I saw the video of that, and yeah, that's, I don't know. We were talking about my best friend earlier. He works at the Golf Channel. It's been a source of conversation, certainly in the Hayslip household. KOAM News Now Facebook page. Happier things. Tooth Fairy. There's a thing called the Tooth Fairy Index, and it's how much kids get from the Tooth Fairy. I'm gonna do a little bit here. Roy D. Mercer, how big a boy are you? Says, my family was so poor that when I was born naked with no teeth. Wait a second, I've got two kids. They were two. Roy, you got something in common with my two kids.
My three boys were.
Lori Farnham, a quarter. That has been the popular one. Dave Pitt Sr., club member, get off the lawn. He says a nickel or dime. And Vicki Eldridge, she says usually a quarter. Occasionally, a 50-cent piece if it was hard to get out. Missing your flag in front of the station. Have a fantastic day. Vicki, we're getting that fixed. I promise you. We've got a great person by the name of James Mass who takes care of our flag outside the station, and we are in the midst of doing that. And I promise you it will be up ASAP. Our morning Insta poll, it's a quarter is the most popular answer. Guy Hansen, I love your response, and if you want to check out Guy's response on Facebook, please do. At the same point in time, Guy, you have to remember we could have kids that are watching, and so that's why I was like, hey, if you want to go read Guy's picture, completely understand, but Guy, you also understand why I couldn't read it on air. Be back with birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Staff Sergeant Charles Putnam, a member of the United States Army. He served from 1943 to 1945. His hometown, Joplin, Missouri. We are proud to salute Charles Putnam, our four-state hero.
Let's jaunt on down to Columbus, Kansas, because that is where we find Kylie K. Kirk, who is celebrating her 6th birthday. Kylie K., from all of us at KOAM, have a marvelous day, kiddo.
What a cute kid.
Look at that. We got more alliteration for you.
Yes.
You get this one.
Tesla Tinsley. I'll take the T's, you take the K's. Tesla Tinsley is 8 years old in Fort Scott.
Now let's see who breaks the alliteration ring.
Nah, we're going to keep it going.
Let's keep it going. Josie Johnson.
This is awesome.
JJ. That's a good picture right there. Josie is celebrating her 9th birthday, and speaking of Fort Scott, that's where you can find Miss Josie as well. A very happy birthday. And I'll tell you what, even though it's phonetically, this next one, phonetically alliterated.
It sounds like it, yeah.
It is.
Or we could just take a little break and come back to it in a few.
Nah, I love it.
Okay,
I
phonetically,
love the Coombs.
We've got the alliteration. Kale Coombs.
Oh, nice one, Kale.
Kale Coombs is 11 years old in Frontenac. Check out that catch, Kale Coombs. There you go. We got another one for you.
No, Kale, that's a good catch, man. Nah, Coombs, great family right there. Now, I'll tell you what. Landon Wilson, you know what? You broke the alliteration string, but when you got a picture like that and you're balling, Seneca Indian Pride, you're celebrating your 11th birthday, you got a happy birthday wish from Mom.
Hey, I got one for him.
That's a good looking picture, dude. Hey, and I'll tell you what, you know what shooters do? If you're Landon Wilson, you know what shooters do? Shooters shoot.
Yeah, especially shooters from Seneca who hold Spaldings.
That's why I said.
Boom.
Whoa, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. That was really good. I didn't catch that.
All right, we're going to jump back on the alliteration board since we're playing this game.
Landon, go put the ball in the hole, my man.
There you go. Sophia Simmons.
What?
Yeah, bringing back the alliteration. Okay, we're having way too much fun with this today. Happy birthday from Paul, Ashley, and the kids. Birthday number 11, Sophia Simmons.
I'll tell you what, the party is on in McCune, and we're going to start with Peyton Edwards. Peyton, somebody's not spoiled now, are they?
Which one?
Yeah, Peyton's celebrating her 11th birthday in McCune. Happy birthday, kiddo.
All right, we've got Bryce Peterson, a.k.a. Jarvis, I guess it says.
Hey!
Turning 19.
He's one of your boys.
Yeah. Got freshman at KU this year. His birthday was actually yesterday.
I'll be darned.
Happy birthday to you, 19 years old.
That's pretty cool. Now, the party officially on, because we got a 21st birthday for Katie Ray. Happy birthday, Miss Katie. Look at the matching, I don't want to call them ponchos, sweatshirts, ponchos?
I think they're called ponchos.
Ponchos?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Katie.
Those are warm.
You go have a great 21st.
All right, happy birthday, Katie. Happy birthday going out to Andrea Scott. Andrea is 42 this year. Looking great there, Andrea, in Fort Scott.
Back to Columbus, where Debbie Castle is celebrating her 67th birthday. Miss Debbie, I want you to have a marvelous day and a happy birthday.
All right. And Lloyd Elbrader is celebrating birthday number 87. What a great picture there of Lloyd in Neosho.
I think I met Mr. Elbrader back when I was doing sports, because I know him. Happy birthday, Mr. Elbrader. Rander Gulliford. I tell you what, once again, I see these gentlemen like that are sharply dressed and everything. And I'm like, I need to take notes. That is a great looking picture right there. Happy birthday, Mr. Randall. He is in Moundville.
All right, and we have a belated birthday wish going out to Lanny Cooper, who turned 74 on Monday. Lanny is in Chanute.
What? Levi Whitlock is 11? How did that happen?
They be grown up.
No joke.
You're getting older, Michael. Getting older.
No, I'm getting old. I mean, yeah, in fact, Levi's 11. Happy birthday, Levi. Holy cow.
Oh, we got to end it on alliteration.
We couldn't have planned this, could we? We could not have planned it. Roger Rush, R squared. A very, very happy birthday to you, Mr. Rush, in Miami. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
Okay, I'm sorry. We are so cheesy this morning. But we love it. We love to celebrate with you. And if you have a birthday, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Police conduct a death investigation following a fire in Northeast Joplin. Yesterday evening, the Joplin Fire Department responded to a house fire at 223 South Galena Avenue. Firefighters found a man already dead inside. The Joplin Police Department is investigating. There's no word yet on whether investigators suspect foul play. Police say they'll release the victim's name once they track down the next of kin. We'll have the latest as it becomes available. A homicide suspect says he killed two people because they had killed his girlfriend in a separate county. The suspect, 24-year-old Kevin Johnson, is in custody, and police say he has admitted to killing Nicole Hodges and Mason McClure. But he claims he killed them because they had killed his girlfriend, 25-year-old Briley O'Banion. O'Banion's body was found on Saturday along the road in rural Newton County. Autopsy results released yesterday show she died from suffocation and then was lit on fire after being put into the ditch. The Newton County Sheriff's Office was looking for McClure and Hodges as persons of interest before they were found dead in a villa. Joplin School Board unanimously approves a plan to get the high school students back to in-person learning full-time. It details a progressive approach to phasing out the AB days the high school is currently using to reduce the number of students on campus. According to the plan, the administration feels with the current trend in numbers that it's time to begin the re-entry process. That process would begin March 1st with freshmen returning to the high school full-time. It would continue a weekly approach from there, bringing each class back 1 week at a time. Navigating the web can present a problem for some seniors. It's a bigger problem considering registration for COVID-19 vaccines is online. The Area Agency on Aging has that covered. They're offering their services to 4-staters 65 years and older who need help registering for vaccine clinics. If you need help registering for a COVID-19 vaccine, just call the Area Agency on Aging. The number to call on your screen there, 417-781-7562. And leave a message. And that's a check at today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Have a great, safe Wednesday. Enjoy some time and some fresh air outside. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
You feel like you've lost your zip? We may be